Hello and welcome to Broadsword Wargaming. In this video, I'm going to be doing a faction focus on Grey Knights for Warhammer 40,000 Kill Team. An ancient order of Space Marines shrouded in mystery and legend. The Grey Knights are humanity's greatest defense against the threat of demonkind. Hello and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, please do think about subscribing for more videos to come, because this video is focusing on Grey Knights in Kill Team. I'm going to give you a brief faction breakdown, a little overview of them as a faction, how they play, pros and cons, and you can decide whether or not they're for you. Why play Grey Knights? If you like Space Marines, which I know you do, if you like them with psychic powers, that's even better. If you like them wielding awesome arm guns, arm cannons, massive flamers, and psychic swords, this is probably the faction for you. Pros. The main advantage to these guys is all characters and models have access to psychic powers. Now, there are not many factions in Kill Team who have psychers in their core or elite rules. Commander is a little bit different for the few people who play it. You can kind of get librarians everywhere, but for the majority of games, you're getting a psychic character for 18 points a model. That's awesome. Although every model has access to psychic powers, only 2 of them can use them each turn. These guys also have some of the best standard combat weapons you'll find in the game. Every weapon can do D3 wounds in combat, and the Demon Hammer does a straight 3. That's removing Primaris Marines, most 2-wound models, just as easy as 1-wound models. It makes no difference to you. They're great at combat, they're good at shooting, and they have magic powers. Cons. So there are some disadvantages to these guys. Although they are kind of great at everything, you won't have many of them. In a 100-point game, you're looking at fielding 5 models. That isn't great. If you take losses early, it's really hard to recover from that. In objective-based games, you will struggle with so few models. Although they all have Cybolt, they only have a 12-inch range, which is fine, but if you get into a shooting match and sit on an objective, that then becomes useless if they're sat at you over 12 inches. And the final disadvantage, I would say, is along with not having great options, not having very many models, the stats aren't great either. You get a 1-wound character with 1 attack and a 3-up armor save. You can give yourself an invulnerable save, which is the 5-up in combat with a warding stave, but not great. You are quite fragile for the amount of points you're paying per model. Special abilities. Like most Space Marines, these guys have transhuman physiology, meaning they ignore the to-hit penalty for the first flesh wound they have. They also have And They Shall Know No Fear, allowing them to reroll nerve checks, which is great in a small kill team. They have a couple of other cool abilities, although aren't really that useful. They have Demon Hunter and Rites of Banishment. Rites of Banishment means if hitting a demon with Cybolt, you'll do D3 mortal wounds. But how often do we play demons in this game? I've never played against demons, so not really that useful. The Grey Knight tactics aren't really great overall. They give you a lot of buffs for psychic stuff, but with Brotherhood of Psychers, you already add +1 to Deny the Witch and to casting Cybolt. You don't really need to be spending 2 CP to do that on 3 dice. I'd rather just save the CP for a reroll on the psychic test or armor saves. I find I use a lot of my CP on the basic tactics everyone can kind of get, whether that's the veteran move to run forward with his incinerator and burn some bad guys. If I'm using it for armor saves primarily, I think. Having such weak models and 3-up armor, that is one of the best ways to defend yourself at 1 CP a turn. The only real Grey Knight specific tactic I use and have used occasionally is Cybolt ammunition. This allows any Stormbolt wielder to add +1 to the strength of the gun and +1 to the AP or -1. Handy for taking down swarms of models or against strength 4 models and wounding them on 3s. Standard Kill Team roster. As far as the list goes, I would be taking 5 models in my Kill Team faction. My leader either has a Halberd or the Force Stave for the 5-up invulnerable in combat. I take a gunner with an incinerator. Sometimes you can make this guy the veteran to run him up first and burn, but I don't like to put all of my eggs in one basket. The other guys have Nemesis Falchions and a Demon Hammer. Make them the combat and Zealots, so the combat on the Demon Hammer for the +1 attack, and the Zealots on the Falchions for the +1 attack and +1 strength on a charge, which It's quite handy as you've only got one attack generally anyway. If you're feeling fruity, you can take demolitions as well onto the incinerator, giving them +1 to wound, which is awesome, but not always necessary anyway because you've only got a 1 wound weapon. Just remember, when playing Grey Knights, you have an elite army with very few models. You have some great, awesome abilities naturally with the transhuman physiology, Cybolt being the best thing. I would say you're safer in combat. I guess you can take a sort of 2-gun list with Cybolts and Psy Cannons for taking down mechs or those sort of 3 wound characters. I don't think you're ever really going to win a shooting match, but giving yourself a Stormbolter and a couple of swords is great for Overwatch. It's great for shooting, although you can't shoot in combat obviously in the same turn. But get up in the board, get yourselves in combat, and don't get shot at. That's how I play Grey Knights. Well, there you have it. That is this video. What do you think to Grey Knights now? I love them. They're my favorite. They're all wizards, which I just think is awesome in the 40th millennium. They hate demons and they all have cool swords. If you want to see how these guys work, do check out some of the battle reports I've done before. I played against Luke with some Imperial Guard, and I played against Sean and his 1,000 Sons. That was a true game of wizards, 1,000 Sons and Grey Knights. Check that one out up there. I've also done faction focuses for most of the factions now, but there's one there for 1,000 Sons if you want to know how these guys play. If you've enjoyed this video, please do remember to like, share, subscribe, and hit the alarm bell for more videos to come. To support the channel, I've got several different ways. You can use the GEEK Gaming affiliates for all your basing stuff. Thanks so much to Luke for using the board I've shown in this video, actually. That's done with all these materials. I've got different places to buy models. I've got some Amazon Associates. And last but not least, I have my Patreon. This is the best way for you guys to support me in the long run so I can do more battle reports and videos like these. Thanks so much to all my Patreons so far. It means a lot to me that you guys support, so thumbs up to you guys. Yeah, that's it for me in this video. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll catch you in another video. Take care.